Please be seated. The court is now back in session. And Mr. Witness, are you ready? Nimol, are you ready? Witness, I am ready. President, thank you. And I'd like to hand the floor again to the International Deputy Co-Prosecutor to put further questions to the witness.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. President. A while ago, witness, we talked of the arrest of Hearn, Cham, and also Hon, and you didn't recall that anymore. Before those high-ranking cadres were arrested, alongside other cadres, did Runim carry out his own investigations?
Nimol, before somebody was arrested, did Ruhnyam undertake any investigation? Answer. He would see who did right or who did wrong, and if somebody did wrong, the person would be removed.
Je n'ai pas entendu de réponse, Monsieur.
I did not hear the witness's answer, Mr. President. So my question is...
Ces enquêtes avant d'arrêter des cadres comme...
My question was whether Rune carried out his own investigations before arresting cadres such as Tacham, Tahon, and others.
Je ne sais pas si vous avez un problème avec votre écouteur, mais en français, on a...
I do not know whether you have a problem in your earsets, but there is a hum in the earsets, and we didn't hear the answers, the witness's answer.
Bon, mon appareil n'avait plus de batterie, donc je vais demander à ma collègue.
My equipment didn't have any battery, so I asked my colleague. I'm going to have to ask my colleague what the witness said.
Monsieur le témoin, est-ce que vous savez...
Witness, do you know whether Runim sometimes received orders or instructions from the upper echelon with a view to arresting cadres?
Nimol, did you know that Runyam received instructions or orders from upper level for arresting someone? President, please hold on, witness. And Defense Counsel Copper, you have the floor.
Yes, Mr. President, I keep objecting to this kind of question. Runim was upper echelon, so either has to be very concrete as to who was ordering him, if at all it was possible for Runim to be ordered.
It would appear, Counsel, we have had the debate yesterday, the same discussion yesterday.
Yeah, but what does upper echelon mean when it comes to Runim? I don't know.
Well, why don't we wait for the answer?
Yeah, but
we can plead later. I know we come close to pleadings, but not yet.
Upper echelon, that it's not like, it's not a person. I mean, it needs to be a person who's ordering. It's not like it's a machine or something. What is the upper echelon here?
Monsieur le témoin, est-ce que vous...
Witness, do you know whether Runim sometimes received orders or instructions from Phnom Penh, and in particular from Pol Pot or Nuon Chea, for the purpose of arresting cadres in his zone?
Nimol, do you understand the question, Mr. Witness? Witness. He supervised that area, and if somebody did not do good, the person would be removed. Nimol, did you know if Runyam received an order from Pol Pot or Nuon Chea for the purpose of arresting someone? Answer, I did not have a full grasp regarding this matter.
Monsieur le témoin, est-ce que
Witness, did you know from what you were able to learn on the regime whether the cadres who were arrested were prompted to denounce other cadres?
I did not know about that, and probably no, there was no such cases.
Bon, je ne suis pas sûr que vous vous souvenez tout à fait de...
I do not know whether you recall what you said earlier. I'll read out to you an extract, and it is DCCAM, a statement E3/10762, page 15 in Khmer, and in Khmer 00923746 and 47. There is no French translation. I'll read or quote it in English.
And to my thinking, the purges were the result of the implications by torture-inflicted interrogations, which were supposed to be expeditious. For example, I'm arrested and you are traitor, but I have to get you involved through my implication. Then a little further down, I would just put all the names of my colleagues to survive the torture. When torture is severely inflicted, we just implicate others, and such implications would become perceived as true. For this reason, so many people were killed. As in the case of the arrest of a zone chief, you can see how many people he implicated through his confession. For example, I'm an innocent person, but when I'm implicated, I will eventually become his affiliate. And then at page English 0106 6800, Khmer 00923747. You also said the following, I quote, I believed, and it was true, that it was a process carried out in Phnom Penh at that time, which killed tens of thousands of people through the arrests of the whole link or affiliates, including the innocent. Believe me, it was true. End of quote. Comment avez-vous... Est-ce que vous avez appris à l'époque?
Did you learn at the time that indeed such a process of torture followed by denunciations occurred in Phnom Penh?
Witness, please hold on, and Councillor Copper, you have the floor.
The witness has been read something back which is an opinion which he was thinking. Witnesses can only testify as to what they know, what they saw, what they personally experienced. So to put back before him a quote of from his own testimony implicating what he was thinking must have happened is asking for speculation.
Sorry, Counsel. It's something he himself said at the time. We have frequently confronted witnesses or civil parties what they have said previously. Where's this suddenly coming from?
Then don't bother giving the instructions to the witnesses anymore that he can only testify as to what he saw, experienced, heard, etc. Then forget about that instruction as well.
No, sorry, Counsel. We have, as I said, we have had frequent, this is a practice for 2 years, which we have allowed for everybody, and you have done it plenty of times. Having said that, nobody hinders us to clarify with the witness if this is an opinion, if this is something he had experienced himself, and we will then deal with this in the verdict.
Ma question est en plus tout autre.
My question, Madam Judge, was that whether he knew at that time there was a process of torture followed by denunciations in place in Phnom Penh at the time. He can say he knows about that or not.
Monsieur le témoin, est-ce que vous saviez...
Witness, did you know whether between 1975 and 1979, whether people were brought to Phnom Penh, tortured, and that those persons implicated other persons and entire networks, for instance? Was that something you were aware of at the time? Or from what I have read, that was something you only got to know subsequently after 1979?
I did not know about that anymore. The question is between 75 to 79, were tortures inflicted upon those who were brought to Phnom Penh so that they could answer questions, so that they could confess? Were they tortured? Witness, I did not know anything about that. President, witness, please hold on. And Counsel Kong Som-on, you have the floor. Kong Som-on, thank you, Mr. President. The witness actually answers the question. So please, the facilitator should not intervene, and she should only intervene when the witness does not understand the question. So please, Mr. President, give instruction to her.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am afraid that with all these interruptions, I'll have to take up too much time, coupled with the technical difficulties we face. I'll try to press on. I'll have you react to what you told DCCAM. It is a very short statement in document E3/9084 on page 72 in French, 97 in English, and I believe that in Khmer it is 000-57713. And this is what you stated regarding persons who were arrested. And I quote, if someone were arrested, that necessarily meant that a person had betrayed. That person therefore had to be executed. I was not in agreement because I knew that they didn't have to force the person to speak by beating them up or extracting their nails. No one could endure such torture. You were obliged to confess according to what they were expecting of you, end of quote. When you state that someone, well, when someone was arrested, it necessarily meant that the person had betrayed, and that person therefore had to be executed. My question to you is as follows. When Anka arrested someone, was Anka always assumed to be always right?
People would be monitored, and if they were found out, then if they were found out as traitors, they would be arrested. However, there was no arbitrary arrest. They had to be monitored. And before someone was accused, the person would be monitored, that is in terms of his activities.
Tout à l'heure, nous avons parlé de...
A while ago, we talked of some cadres of Sector Number 3 who had been arrested and who disappeared. Can you tell us whether the leaders of Sector 1 were also arrested by Runim?
No, there was none.
Vous aviez mentionné devant...
When you were interviewed by DCCAM, the document E3/9084 on page 44 in French, 60 in English, and in Khmer 00057-680, you mentioned that Sai was the chief of Sector 1, and after him, the following question was asked, Tavan, and your answer was Tavan. And then the people of the Southwest Zone arrived, end of quote. Now, did you know a certain Tavan, and do you know whether he survived the regime?
Nimel, is Tavang alive? Did he survive the Khmer Rouge regime? Witness, which Tavang? In which sector he was in? I do not recall the person. President, Deputy Co-Prosecutor, you should put the first question to him, whether he knows Tavang, before you go into the details. So if you go straight to the detail, then it is a loss, and it's going to cause other problems.
Bien, justement, je crois qu'il s'en souvient.
Precisely, I believe that he knew about that at the time when he was interviewed by DCCAM, and he was the one who mentioned his name. Witness, I'm talking of Sector 1. Did you know Tavan, V-A-N-H, Secretary of Sector 1? You can tell us what happened to him.
Nimel, Tavang was Secretary of Sector 1. Do you recall his name? Answer, no, I do not recall him. Is the question whether I went to Sector 3?
Non, la question n'était pas de savoir...
The question was not whether you went to Sector 3. All I did was to read out to you a statement you gave to DCCAM in which you mentioned the name of Tavan, who had replaced Tasai as Secretary of Sector 1. Do you recall that?
No, I do not recall that. I forget about it.
Je mentionne pour les besoins de la transcription deux...
For the record, for the transcript, two documents, E3/2285, which is an S21 list titled Name of Prisoners Smashed on the 18th of October 1977, And the page in English is 00873644. In Khmer, 0009307. And there is no French version. We find number 122. That is the name of Chie Hyun, H-U-O-N, alias Van, V-A-N-H, Secretary of Sector 1, who entered S21 on the 20th of June 1977 and executed on the 18th of October 1977. Witness.